Hi YouTube, I'm Matt and this is my making of a mashup. For those of you that know my channel will know that I've been making mashup videos for several years now. Most of the early ones I did were mashups of the TV show Bottom from the 90s, mashed up with various TV intros. And I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I like to try and get the intro as close as possible to the original TV show that it was taken from, by which I mean the timing of the clips, sometimes the content of the clips to match the music or to match the words of the lyrics of the TV intro, even sometimes down to trying to get shots that pretty much look identical to the original shot. I've also done a fair few mashups with Star Wars, which is one of my favourite franchises, and Indiana Jones, another favourite as well. I have a large subscriber base for my Lolometer reaction videos, but I would probably say that the majority of my subscribers are actually Transformers fans. I've done multiple Transformers videos where I've edited Transformers the movie to create new scenes or to do like alternates or what if scenarios, and the more I've done this, the more I've enjoyed it and the more I've wanted to keep doing it and to do more and more. I just genuinely love video editing, and I love the challenge of trying to create something that I see in my mind, or if I see a clip and I think, you know, I could really change that and make that into something else, or I could take some dialogue and mix it around a bit and make a different scene that doesn't already exist. That challenge just grabs me every time and I can't help myself. So when I initially started, I did my Optimus Prime Returns video, which is a little rough around the edges here and there because it was the first one that I really did with the Transformers material. There's a lot of occasions in there where I've taken stills of like every frame from a scene, and then I've literally dropped them into Photoshop. I've removed the background in every frame, put them back into Adobe Premiere, which is what I use for editing, and I've pretty much animated them again, but with new backgrounds in. It was the Optimus Prime Returns and how well that was received that really made me want to delve back into Transformers, and that's when I started my What If series, which started with what if Hot Rod didn't interfere in Prime's fight against Megatron. This was a bit of a controversial one really, because a lot of Transformers fans get genuinely very miffed about what Hot Rod did interfering in that fight, and they believe he was the reason that Prime died. I don't entirely believe that's the case. What? I'm not 100% sure if it would have turned out any different if Hot Rod hadn't have interfered in that fight, but for me it was a challenge. It was an editing challenge that I really was excited to take on, to try and change that scene. And if I'm honest, it started as quite a small project in my mind, just to change it and just to see if I could make a few scenes a little bit different, just to sort of mix it up a little bit from the original movie. But of course I got carried away, as I always do with these projects, and suddenly I think it was about 2 months later of pretty intensive editing that I finally managed to finish part 1, because it was getting so big that I found that I was quite literally remaking large portions of the movie with Prime in it where he hadn't been in previously. And then of course I worked on part 2, and I had a few ideas in there, things that I really wanted. Like I wanted some of the old school Autobots to return at the end. That was fun to make that and to sort of bring that scene to life that I'd sort of imagined in my mind. I guess the time consuming part of making these videos is finding the right dialogue and I guess the right images, but it's probably more the dialogue that's the harder bit. I tend to sort of drive around with the audio tracks of episodes just playing out loud, and I'll make like a mental note when I hear something that I think, hang on, oh yeah, I like that, Optimus Prime said whatever it was, and then I'll sort of hunt out over multiple drives or multiple viewings of episodes another line that could be joined to it to sort of make the sentence that I want him to say. So I don't use any AI or anything like that. It is all original Peter Cullen or original actors, Frank Welker, whoever it was. It's their lines. I just mix it around a bit and chop it and change it to make it into what I want it to be. And again, the same with the clips. You know, I could be using battle scenes from multiple different episodes, edit them all together in different sequence to create my own little battle that I'm going for. Then of course I moved on to the shuttle attack. What if the shuttle attack went a little bit differently? This one was genuinely just for fun, and I never had any intention at the time of creating any more than that one scene on the shuttle when the Decepticons attack and pretty much obliterate most of our favourite Autobots, which does still hurt to this day, I must admit. But yeah, I really wanted to just change that scene to see if I could make it so that the Autobots did survive. A few people have asked me since if I'm intending to continue the movie from that point with the Autobots alive, and I must admit I am intrigued. I guess what's putting me off is I know damn well that if I do that, the person that I am and the perfectionist that I am, it will lead to basically redoing the whole film again, as I did with the what if Hot Rod doesn't interfere in Prime's fight. I like the idea of the challenge of it, to see what would change and how it would be different if the shuttle made it back intact without the Decepticons on board to warn the Autobots that the Decepticons were attacking. How that would change the whole movie, I have no idea at this point. I may well think about that and tackle that project at some point down the line. And then I had the idea to mash up Transformers with another one of my favourite kids cartoons from the 80s, which was He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. I've always had a soft spot for He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Great cartoon. And of course I also mixed it in with G.I. Joe, which was another favourite from the day as well. And I guess one of my favourite scenes to make was Cobra Commander with Starscream.
I am Starscream. I am Cobra Commander. I command you to assist me in dethroning Megatron.
And if you're not aware of this fact, they're both voiced by the same voice actor. So as soon as I decided I was going to make this video, it was right up there on my list of things to include, was a scene with Cobra Commander and Starscream talking to each other. It just had to be done. So yeah, I absolutely loved making the He-Man mashup. Again, there was a lot of editing of scenes, removing backgrounds, trying to find ways to integrate the characters together. And I enjoyed that so much that I decided to make a new mashup video with He-Man, Transformers again, G.I. Joe again, and to throw in some other favourites from back in the day as well. And I guess this project kind of got out of hand, as most of mine do. Again, it was intended to be like a 10-minute battle with various characters. The way I kind of pitched this video to myself was an 80s cartoon equivalent of the Avengers Assemble scene from Avengers Endgame.
Avengers! Assemble.
Where all kinds of random cool heroes appear to help and defeat the enemy. I was searching through my mind trying to think of all those characters that I watched, Dungeons and Dragons, Battle of the Planets, stuff like that, shows that I loved, and I just thought there's got to be a way to work some of these characters in there. And there was multiple more that I found along the way, shows that I'd forgotten about, shows that were so obscure that they've been buried in my memory for many, many, many years. And the more shows I found, the bigger the project got, and the more I tried to squeeze people in. So, I mean, there may be some people who watch this video and think that it's just too crammed in with random characters, but that was the fun of it. It was done that way because I wanted it that way, and because I genuinely enjoyed the challenge of trying to fit as many retro characters in there as I could, and I loved it. One of the issues I faced when making this video was, of course, copywriting. I've generally found clips that I think I want to use. I've re-uploaded edits of them to YouTube to see if they get blocked or not, and pretty much everything I wanted was fine. Unfortunately, one TV show that did get blocked was Voltron. I did a scene featuring the Voltron crew, which I really, really liked, but when I uploaded it, it got completely blocked by YouTube, so I've had to remove it. I did squeeze in just pretty much a shot, and that thankfully got past the censors, so there is still a tiny piece of Voltron in there. It's been absolute brilliant fun. A real challenge, very all-consuming, and it's been difficult sometimes to get my mind out of the video and into the rest of real life, but I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope that you enjoy it too.
When the world is out of balance and is slipping towards disaster, indescribable evil is stalking through time and space.
I want war! This is Autobot Pro calling. Need help badly. Do you read me? Sympathy's not enough.
I'm picking up something.
This is Autobot Pro calling. Need help badly. Do you read me? This is Autobot Pro calling. Need help badly.
But finding a hero is only the beginning. The battle lies ahead. Against overwhelming odds,
I wish I could help. Its reversal is beyond my power.
the danger unimaginable. Only the bravest and the best can make a stand before time runs out.